Hello everyone, Allie here, and welcome to the Goldmine. Thank you so much for joining me here on another episode at Allie's Treasure Trove. Today we do have a new episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Well, technically it's the last day of August, still the August Allie Plays Takeover, here with episode number 26. So, it's been a few days since I've had a new one of these on the channel to take the weekend off, and then because of that super long stream on Saturday night, lasting from 7:45 p.m., and then I was here till 6:30 in the morning, so very, very long stream. Definitely overdid it. Didn't have my voice to be able to record on Sunday, and then overdid it again on Saturday. As you guys will see later this week, do have some regular content coming to the channel, so I'd filmed all that, and I was like, all right, time to film the episode. And I was like, you know what? My throat doesn't want to cooperate. So that's why we're having this a bit later this afternoon. It is currently 11:30 in the morning, so I'm hoping that this video gets up, hopefully somewhere around 3 o'clock, depending on how long it is. Should take a couple hours to export, and then if it's like about a 2-hour video, probably take like 45 minutes to upload, and then processing sometimes can be very short, sometimes can take forever. So we'll see. I'm aiming for around 3 p.m., but we'll see how this goes. But we are getting into trial part 2 here of Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. As we saw last episode, a little reminder for you guys if you forgot, we did see Shamspeare's facade crack. And also, he seems to be affiliated with that felon that did die in prison, was set to be executed, died in prison though, who happened to live in Mr. Natsume's room before Mr. Natsume and the other tenant, who was Olive Green's fiance, who died in mysterious circumstances. Something with the gas went funny, and then he did suffocate. And Mr. Natsume is saying there's been weird happenings with his gas as well. Thinks it's ghosts, but I think it is Shamspeare trying to get that room, looking for that other guy's quote-unquote buried treasure, all those thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and gold that was stashed away somewhere, never found. So he is very, very suspicious. I definitely think Shamspeare's up to something. I think he is just doing whatever he can to get rid of whoever is in that room so he can just dig around, which, I mean, it is filled with books at the moment, so I'm not sure if they're all Mr. Natsume's or some of it was Mr. Garadeb, some of it was Mr. I don't remember the gentleman's name, so I'll just say Mr. Green. Maybe he was going to take Olive's last name. You never know how that works. But those two, I think Shamspeare is calculating getting rid of them. Oops, I just smacked the microphone. My apologies, everybody. But yeah, so he's very, very suspicious, and we're going to see what we can uncover here. Should be waiting on the results if there is poison in that tea coming back here in this courtroom. That is why the judge called recess, as we did find that little bit of tea frozen into a coin in order to put into the gas machine, to, scam the gas company out of gas. I believe it was called Altamont Gas. The only reason I remember that is because there's used to be a really good Toys R Us up a little north of Orlando in Altamont Springs, and of course Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore. But I remember finding those little Nintendo Pikmin figures. You guys remember those little 3-inch or so ones, the little different series? I had a hard time finding the Pikmin ones. And then I found so many of them, I bought every single one I found. I have like 17 of the yellow ones. Less of all the other colors, but I have like 17 of the yellow ones. I'm obsessed with yellow Pikmins. The ears are wonderful. You know what? We're not even getting started here on the episode, but if y'all don't know, what? Okay, for a second, I had scrolled down a little bit. No, that's not what I meant to do. I was going to show you guys a yellow Pikmin. It looks like Soseki-san's tripping out again thinking he's a cat. But anyways, in Streamlabs, I had scrolled down a little bit, and it showed that the bottom bar was muted. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've been talking to you guys for like 5 minutes, and none of the audio's come through. But it had scrolled down, so it's showing me the volume coming from the face cam. But anyways, before we see Soseki lose his mind again, we're going to look at a yellow Pikmin. This is why you guys like this channel, right? I hope this is why you like it. We do random stuff here. This little figure. Why is it on eBay for $80? I should have left them all sealed. What in tarnation? No way that these things are selling for $80. Holy crap. Hold on. Yellow Pikmin. Am I sitting on a gold mine? Welcome to the Goldmine. What the heck? There's one for $150. Why are these things ridiculously expensive? Oh my goodness, let me look at sold listings. I don't believe it. Alright, they have lots of 4 of one of each of the colors. You know, they have the red, the blue, the purple, and the yellow one. Those are selling for about $74 for the lot. There's one new in box sold August 14th for $65. Why? Why? Y'all, I don't think I rage ripped them all because I ran out of space to store these boxes. Like, they're not the largest boxes, but they were so hard. This one sold for $55 and then 2 weeks later. All right, well, I'm opening this image in new tab. Why won't it let me open this image in a new tab? Come on, eBay. All right, open image in new tab. Save image. Anyway, so I have 17 of these. Minimum 17 of these. Minimum. All right, there's the fist PNG. I think that's one of my prime bits of humor. These things. Anyway, so I have like 17 of these. Like I said, they're not in box. I think I might... My intention would have been to keep one of each of the 4, because they ended up making the blue, the red, of course, the yellow. Look at his ears, though, dude. Look at him. He's adorable. He's my favorites. I like how one has a mouth. The blue one has a mouth. This one has a nose, and this one has ears. Put them together, you can make a real face, but each of them have different things. And then the purple one's just fat. But anyways, they also made a purple one. So I think my intention would have been to keep one of each of them sealed, and then the rest I open them on up. Look at that. That's not even minty. That has a crunch right there. This sold for $55 like 3 weeks ago, and then one sold for $75 2 weeks ago, and I have 17 of them. What the? That's why they're so expensive. It's all my fault. All right, let's bring up the fist PNG again. Snap out of it, Soseki. Anyways, get rid of that. 8 minutes in, we've done nothing, so let's get started. This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. And I always appreciate your help, Miss Susanto. Suffering, Soseki selfishly sidelined. Ah! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning! Good morning, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Listen to you two, chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear! We didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting. What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Susanto's like, oh my god, what is wrong with him? Nor such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading to your death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example. Oh yes, there it is. Inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandon me and return to our beautiful long-lost homeland. We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Oh wow, yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh yeah, this has been very eventful. Yeah. Talk about being overworked. Jeez, I think I'm busy. Think about these pair. Jeez. Anyways, anyway, I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. I'm assuming it's his decision to go back to Japan. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. Oh yeah, he said he'd be here. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. It's a very clear message, I think. And he's overslapped again. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. All right, so the T had to test negative for poison, right? Because otherwise he'd just get an auto guilty verdict, right? But then how did he get poisoned? I don't know. I feel the fact Shamspear left some tea out to make the coins. You know, if he is big plotting behind the scenes to get into the room to steal all this guy's hidden treasure, if that is his end goal, as we saw, he did snap in the hospital. We got to see behind his, "Oh, verily, I am the great William Shamspear." You know, we got to see behind that into him losing his mind a little bit, bending his staff and whatnot. And then, wouldn't it make sense for him to put poison in the tea, just in case they do find the tea? To make it seem like, oh yeah, 100% the other guy did it? Like, I don't know. I feel like that'd be a big oversight on his part. I don't know. I still think he poisoned himself. Or the other guy had something to do with it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. My first guess would be that he poisoned himself to pin it on Natsume, because he was really into getting Natsume pinned for murder for some reason. We know what the reason is, but he's really into that. And then my second guess would be that the gas man tried to kill him. As we learned, anything that Shamspear scams comes out of his salary, which is illegal, like I said. If you're out there, fun fact, if you guys work for tips, and if someone dines and dashes on you and your manager makes that money come out of your tips, that's illegal. Life advice from Allie. Talk to a lawyer. Anyways, today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. And I have to keep believing in my client, and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. Alright, it's currently 9:40 in the Old Bailey. A little vampire-looking Van Zeke's over there.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. Vampire. Yes, the defense is ready.
Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed?
Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words. I feel obligated to say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. No, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me, and please be as ruthless as you like. Thieves deserve to die if you ask me, especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. I feel like every time this old man appears, he has something different weird going on.
Now, Lord Van Zeeks, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea.
The fact he hasn't said anything implies to me that it probably tested negative. So he does have the results. Otherwise he'd be chomping at the bits to let us know. I was gonna say, he looks a little frustrated, but he has that look in general. That's just the way he's animated. Curious. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock. Pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of more sanguine hue. In fact, I defer to the good detective for the report. Ugh, I don't think my throat wants to do Gregson today. Here's to you, Inspector. Yes, sir! Thank you, sir! As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a depression on the top of it. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Well, the brains at the yard analyzing, yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. Heck yeah. No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear.
What a revelation!
Knew it. Called it. Small brain, though, on Shamspear's part. He didn't think that one through. And as I suspected, this makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is blameless here. My learned friend is just jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. What? Yes, it's true. No poison was found and a few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the window ledge. But what logic is that? Would you take a drop from Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty?
My word, the water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel.
What kind of backward science is this? Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspear, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand.
Oh, verily, I'm here to give my testimony.
Oh my goodness.
Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request.
Mr. Shamspear! Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend.
Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspear to the stand.
Bro, I can't get over the fact that Pikmins are like $80. This is ridiculous. I hate this guy's face so much. Mr. William Shamspear, the victim of this despicable crime.
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspear, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given in mine innocence.
Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe.
By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company. Yes.
One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspear, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given.
That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief. I haven't forgotten, kept all that about the ice coins a tight secret, didn't you? Should have owned up to it sooner.
Arrest him, I say, arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail.
Well, she is dressed like a wasp. Okay. It's like, why does she have a bee costume?
Oh, indeed, by dint of vile and cowardly means I have plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure.
If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here?
Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But would it that still a greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east than Verona did contrive to poison me.
Objection!
Why are you dancing? There was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamspear?
Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak. Verily.
Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court, why is it that poison apparently entered your body, though none of it was found in the tea?
The tea inconsistency.
The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that the poison be found not in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap.
The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience.
Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance.
But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. Ah, I knew that. By now, it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused hands. Ah!
Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shakespeare, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose.
Well, I do declare. Shut up, Archie.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
I understand that you are already acquainted with Mr. Natsume, is that correct?
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Do I know thee, or know thee not? Methinks 'tis all I can know, that thy destiny mingles with mine.
You lost me at the first "thee."
Zounds, sir, thou must learn the English tongue afore thou turnst thy hand to lawyering.
Bro, that ain't English. I don't know what that is, but that's not English. I mean, it is, but you guys know what I'm saying. I did, but I must have missed the archaic Elizabethan lecture.
Verily, and in truth, 'twas a fine-flavored brew, though a drop of poison did barb its sweetness, as the thorn doth barb the sweet rose. That, dear friends,
Dear fellows,
be the simple truth. Listen to Mr. Shakespeare. He seems in even better form than he was yesterday.
either that or I'm in worse form.
That fated evening, after I did dine, at Grubb's Grubbery, a local alehouse of good report, naught did pass my lips but the tainted black tea. But behold, the poison was not in the tea at first.
Hold it!
Are you saying that you saw the moments when the poison was added to your tea? And you still drank it?
To have witnessed the act, and then drank the tea? Thou dost describe the actions of a fool.
Quite so, quite so.
But no one likes going thirsty, do they? Sooner would I die quenched than parched. Would I have the choice?
Actually, on the night in question, the water main was frozen, I believe. Wasn't it?
Were it not for the tea, in sooth I would sooner have died frozen than quenched or parched.
Right, no ice coin means no heating. The witness had more than one brush with death on the night in question, it would seem. Remind the court, Mr. Shakespeare, as to whether the accused drank any of the tea which was brought with him.
With the greatest of pleasure, my liege.
Alright, let's press. But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene. And let's not forget the defendant's maxim, drink tea while it's hot.
I did gulp from the poisoned cup that night, and in mine agony did I writhe uncontrolled. In fits of pain did I knock the fellow's cup, and its contents spilt as blood from a gaping wound, methinks. Though certainly 'twas after I had made the coins of ice from his tea.
An upset cup was found on the table that the victim was slumped over. There is no contradiction here. Yeah, except that it doesn't have a ring from sitting.
It's true, there is no tea left in the cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about this statement is troubling me.
Yes, of course, I know what it is. It's Mr. Natsume's wise drink tea while it's hot maxim, isn't it?
No, Ryunosuke, we need to have actual proof of things! No, I'm not sure that's it.
Thank you, witness. Now reiterate for the court, what is it that occupied you after your guest had left and before you drank your tea?
Alright, I'm gonna just keep pressing and then circle back and we'll present, I guess, the teacups on that one.
Hold it!
Yeah, so that you could cheat the gas company, in fact. Isn't that right?
To cheat, or to die. 'Tis life's only choice.
You know, or you could, get a real job. It doesn't have to be a good job, but, you know, like the one, juror number 5. His life's not easy, but you know what? He's working. His wife might throw steak knives at him, but he's trying to get money to pay the bills. Yeah, I don't think being a Renaissance cosplayer is a fruitful job in the 1900s. Just saying. You might want to do something else.
Oh, but when I find the thousands of treasure, I'll be set for life. Oh, verily.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, dude. I'm not buying it. Yes.
Faith, the cheat be the wise choice, and mine occupation be not an ugly one. Prithee, dost thou not see beauty in the simplicity of the ruse? No, I don't, and be very sure, sir. Once this trial is over, Altamont Gas will take you to task over this legal task. I shall not run, I shall not hide. Sooth to say, I have nowhere to run, nor to hide. But my lady, what wouldst thou with this pitiful player? Oh, I'll tell you what I'd like to do with you, starting with the shoddy shirt on your back. 'Tis time for a Shakespeare dance. What a harsh world we live in.
Nah, he deserves it, Susato. He deserves it. The thieving of gas was addressed in yesterday's proceedings. The prosecution calls on the defense not to muddy the waters with irrelevancy.
Consider that a warning, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Why am I the one in trouble here? Mr. Shakespeare, after the accused returned to his own lodgings, you used his tea to make your coins. Is that correct?
To cheat or to die. I did make my choice many moons ago.
Bro, just farm Pikmin action figures from 2015. Easy. Endless money.
Hold it!
Why did I start talking about yellow Pikmins in the beginning of the video anyways? I have no idea. I don't even remember. That's like so 22 minutes ago. If, having first made your special coins, it was after 2 in the morning when you collapsed, that would mean you can't have drunk any tea yourself until around that time.
Once ensnared by literary debate, naught else be found in the furrows of the mind.
The debate about Romeo and Juliet, you mean? And who was the stronger of the two? I like how I was gonna be like, oh, who's emotionally stronger debate, and then it was actually just who was physically stronger by them wrestling. Just very literary. Much literary.
Rightly did I pay no heed to the tea as I wrestled with the abominable fellow.
I don't remember debates like that when I was studying.
Are you suggesting that neither of you actually drank the tea whilst it was hot that evening?
My lord, wouldst thou be privy to some Shakespearean wisdom? Husband, wife, and tea, ought I tepid be? Oh yes, so very true. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to tea.
Like me, I don't like tea. And I can hear Stephen from the UK, Stephen Bly, one of our gemstone miners, being like, Allie, how could you not like tea? Or maybe I'm playing into the stereotype here. Maybe Stephen doesn't like tea. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like hot chocolate. That's my preferred hot drink. And then the coffee I drink can't even be considered coffee in my opinion. So like the tea versus coffee debate, I feel like I can't even properly answer. Is there so much sugar in whatever quote-unquote coffees I get that I feel like it doesn't count? Like, does Starbucks count as coffee? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Tim Hortons, maybe. I do like the French vanillas at Tim Hortons. I have the French vanilla K-Pods for the Keurig, but I can't make it taste good. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know how to work this Keurig. All I can make is hot chocolate. It's good. Probably in about a month from now, I can start regularly using the Keurig again, because it won't be 95 degrees every day. This morning it was actually kind of nice outside. It's kind of nice. Florida has like 3 good months of the year. That's it. That's all you get. And I think you might have interpreted that wrongly, Susanto.
Verily!
So it's been proven that there was no poison in Soseki-san's tea. That should be hugely in our favor. And yet, they make it not in our favor somehow. With the atmosphere in this courtroom today,
It feels as though everybody is against us, Mr. Naruhodo.
it must be the Reaper's poison.
I'm afraid that if we don't find a significant flaw in this testimony somewhere, the jury will pounce and find Mr. Natsume guilty.
I love this animated pose here from Susanto. Susanto is ready to throw hands, and I love it. And it really feels like we've jumped into the fire here. Really feels like we went to Florida. Alright. Alright, well, we know this is incorrect. We can see his teacup is clean.
Objection!
See, I figured that out before Susanto even gave us a hint. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible.
How? Chop logic? What is this, ye darky-clad friends? Fiend?
I hate the way this guy I hate this dude. I like the character, but I hate it. That's what makes him a good character. Like, I don't know. I'm like actively gunning to figure out what this guy's up to because it's like that's the best description I can come up with. That's why you guys watch this channel, top tier content. Anyways, the 2 teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents an incontrovertible proof. And they love using that word here in this game.
Incontrovertible?
What difference? Use your eyes, vampire, or is it too bright outside for you? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's clearly a visible ring. Yeah, it's a tea ring. Commonplace enough.
Indeed. Such stains occur all too readily when one leaves the tea in a cup for a while.
And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean.
And prithee, sir, what makes thou of it?
I like how they gave him the heavenly harp noise. I'm not buying it, you're not innocent. Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink! Tea! Wow, it's hot! That's right, yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shakespeare, you clearly lied to the court.
Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
As a rule, I fill my hollowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Maybe Van Zieks is so angry because he's an alcoholic. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry, and then I throw it, hit some poor soul in the gallery with it. Pray thee discourtesy. Pray forgive. The head wound. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shakespeare.
Yes, my liege. I appreciate you covering for me because I'm a white guy and not Japanese.
Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now?
Oh snap, you're right. Thank you so much for making up a lie for me, Mr. Vampire. Faith, my liege, thou art the magician, coming up with some fake excuse. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night.
What?
Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest.
Objection!
I object to that wholeheartedly. And you've suddenly just remembered now that you made a mistake before. Now, we're supposed to believe that.
Objection!
People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoilt cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that have bewitched this court.
The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts.
Furthermore, that testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words, I will commence stripping. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No! What does this mean, then?
I do declare it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony.
Apart from the bit about the thief and gas, obviously.
My lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear that I am up to no good. After I did dine at Grubbery's alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese whose back be stooped as low as death.
And on what did you dine, sir?
Why, I did partake of my favorites, a broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad.
As insalubrious a menu as the establishment where it was served.
But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But I pray ye wise and noble fellows, never forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors all, your humble servant Shakespeare doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins.
Who's this?
My lord!
Oh, my lord! If I may speak, my lord!
Yes, Mr. Foreman.
I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. By me?
And I do declare you may be right.
We all know the waif there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. But this lawyer lad says if he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path, that's what he's been doing. No, I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. Oh yeah? Bet.
The court acknowledges the position of the jury, Foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No. You can't yet.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty!
Rude.
Guilty.
Rude.
Guilty.
Rude.
Guilty.
Rude. What?
Guilty.
Rude.
Guilty.
You don't even know what's going on, dude. You can't vote. I'm actually surprised the gas lady voted guilty.
I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord.
Oh, happy day! Get the harp out of here. You don't deserve a harp. Quit dancing. He's so weird. How is this happening? That is a good question. My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination.
Very well. The court upholds the defense's right.
Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth.
This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
The jurors' contentions. I'm a man of logic, me. And having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty.
I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying.
The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is.
Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at sometimes.
If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there?
For once, the old man's asking good questions.
I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind.
No, you really should mind.
The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Shakespeare was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that.
Then how are we supposed to turn this around?
I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shakespeare was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate to the court incontrovertibly.
But surely that's almost impossible at this stage.
If we don't manage it though, Mr. Natsume
will be found guilty. That is true.
No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
I do like the summation exam. Get out. Oh my god, the way he stands. He's so pompous. Stop.
Verily.
I can hear him. I can hear him in my ear.
Hold it!
And all the evidence, you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to that Japanese man with the big mustache. Oh, he has a big mustache. Now says the English man with the bigger mustache.
Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind.
And if only we had that kind of evidence.
Don't worry, this summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light.
Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. Alright, let's press U. This isn't the time or place to be discussing the price of gas, madam.
But really, think of the injustice. Air is gas, and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever.
Maybe you should loosen up your neck. Your neck is... There's something wrong with your neck, lady. And this isn't the time or place to be ruthless either.
If I might interject here.
Ah, yes, madam.
It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man! That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas! Utterly unforgivable!
Lady, what the heck are you talking about? No, Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes.
Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either! Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas.
Oh my goodness. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Oh! Perhaps he died of gas poison. Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Archie? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I'd take poison over gas every time. You'd take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it?
Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man.
Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! You're right! I hadn't considered that at all, bruh.
Young lawyer man!
Yes?
You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative.
Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past.
Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Hold it!
Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here in this case.
Underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so.
She's really buzzing now.
All I've heard about our wonderful fuel is explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know.
More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting.
We generate gas, we deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed. Nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all.
What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people?
You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to his tricks.
Oh. You got something to say? Archie? Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3?
Oh golly, you mean me?
Yeah, you. I'm terribly sorry, I was just thinking to myself. And I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct?
Well,
yeah? I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see? Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in, and do you know what he did? I'm afraid I have no idea. Please, tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. And then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it.
What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there.
Oh, please. Everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean?
I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network.
Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it?
Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and that's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker.
The trouble is, a particular worker came to my house, didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. The lights didn't just flicker, they went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster.
The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out.
I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Sounds like a good way to murder somebody, eh, Shakespeare? Eh, Shakespeare? Huh?
Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps we've solved the way that Mr. Shakespeare killed Olive Green's fiancée.
Yes, this is almost certainly the clue we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information.
Oh, well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to diddle us.
Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Very well. Juror number 3, will you amend your statement accordingly?
Yes, my lord, although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. I blow too hard in a gas pipe and you extinguish everything in the house, and then you're in real trouble.
All right, let's pit you against Bruce Fairplay, right? All right, let's pit these two together. These two statements are fundamentally at odds with one another. No, that's not how. All right, so that wasn't the right one. Interesting. Alright, that was the first time I messed up a summation examination.
Counsel, I warn you, I shan't abide by any pettifoggery.
Till you got your facts straight, keep your pointy fingers to yourself. Hey, shut up, dude. I thought I did.
We're trying to find inconsistencies in these juror statements, Mr. Naruhodo. The key to it is comparing different things they say before attempting to pit them against one another.
Alright, I'll have another go, Susato. Don't look at me like that. Alright, dude. Why is your wife trying to kill you this time? You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It happened a few times now.
This is most troubling indeed.
It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup. And you drink it anyway? I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell. Oh, so she just put salt in it instead of sugar.
Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt.
No! So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable.
Let's move on, please.
Alright, old man, what you gotta say? Oh, we can, I'll press and then come around.
Hold it!
So this guy versus juror number 3. Does that mean if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you'd change your leaning?
Sorry. What's that now?
Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on the night. What's the matter with you? Sorry?
I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there?
Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and kettle that's appropriate here.
Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently.
I suppose the trouble is...
He has selective hearing.
Exactly. But still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. Which is weird, because usually he does nothing. Ugh, this is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people.
I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shakespeare was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way, and not via Mr. Natsume's tea.
Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen.
Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten.
Oh, like what?
It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something else someone says. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course.
No, I'm good. I don't need a tutorial. Once again, Soseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any evidence my assistant may be able to offer. So perhaps I ought to let Susato-san remind me. Then again, there's no need. I already did it. I just gotta circle back, pit 3 and 6. Actually, I don't think there's any need. It's vital that we start trying to change these jurors' minds as soon as possible.
Of course, I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you would like your memory refreshed, you need only ask Mr. Naruhodo.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! To whose statement do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 6, did you hear what juror number 3 just said?
What? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other.
There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene to see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe? Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance.
What a piece of work! Is a man...
What are you trying to say, Mr. Shakespeare?
What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir.
I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body.
Good lord.
Are they tasty, they gas pipes? Is that what he's saying?
Or is it the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him, For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponi's friend's conjecture. Hey, rude. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say.
Objection!
It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shakespeare put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shakespeare has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall.
Oh, that's what the...
And I have evidence to prove it. That's why there's so many weird fingerprints on the wall. All right, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. Now, so would I. Let's see this evidence then. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shakespeare stood in front of his gas lamp.
Take that!
What the? These are, wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin prints, counsel? I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all the places that Mr. Shakespeare touched in his room.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it?
Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you'd expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shakespeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
Around the hanging picture there, indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of.
I don't believe it.
The gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shakespeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut?
Just trying to murder my upstairs neighbor, oh verily.
And I'd asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement.
Me? What did I say?
You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now, if you'll recall juror number 3's statement. What, me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out, and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shakespeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey!
Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to—
Objection!
Yeah, I'm accusing him of murder of that other dude. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zeeks?
This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case.
But it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective.
It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands.
Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
But,
Please, my lord, if I may.
Miss Susato,
It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wished to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Susato also has the art of BS for essays. I love it. Good job, Susato. Susato is my spirit animal.
And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree.
You're right. Whether these strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3.
Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints.
Yeah, I don't like the lady with no neck, but she's a simp for Sholmes. So that means she's on our team. What's the matter with you two? This was foolhardy.
Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise.
No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair dinkum evidence.
I don't care, I'm agent.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Miss Susato. But I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success.
Oh, he's looking stressed. Why, Mr. Shakespeare? You seem to be losing your composure.
Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Oh, verily. I've been caught for my plans for murder.
Very well, continue, counsel.
Ooh, we still have to summation somebody. Alright, you're... Huh. Nah, this is hopeless. Oh, this is... Alright, Maybe we have to press the white ones too. The not guilties. Alright. Ah! I wish I could go back and I didn't have to circle. No need. You know, I think I should actually press the gas lady again, because we were interrupted by the Archie, juror number 3. Alright. I want to press you. Yeah, we didn't finish. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? Alright. We've already read this, so I'm just going to. He's really buzzing now. All I've heard about our wonderful fuel here is explosions and poisonings. Alright, the other gas companies. I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know. Very difficult indeed.
Thank you, that will do. Clearly, this is a very involved subject, but I feel we have digressed rather too much already. I concur, though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. Because you are full of hot air. To your new career and nothingness.
Thank you so much.
You will turn your attention to the next juror's assertion, please, counsel.
No, so we can't go any further down that route. I guess we'll just repress the ones, see if we can garner anything else. And salty. Susato breaking his illusion. Alright, we gotta run around to bruise fair play. No need, Susato, no need.
Hold it!
All the evidence, you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to that Japanese man with the big mustache. Says the English man with the bigger mustache. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. What do you make of that? What, your so-called skin prints?
It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself.
The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamspeare had indeed put his mouth on the gas pipe on the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
You do make a very valid point, sir.
What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. You and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back.
What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Is there? Let's see. All right. I don't know. Can I show that Mr. Shamspeare really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? Do we have supporting testimony? We could probably call Mr. Garadeb. We have supporting testimony, I think. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there's a witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, and it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garadeb residence that night, namely... I'd say Mr. Garadeb, right?
Take that!
Well, Mr. Foreman? No, that's not it.
Rest assured, counsel, I shan't let nonsensical answers go without penalty.
Ugh. Thought I got away with it.
The witnesses spoke about the gas on the night in question. Yes, there was someone.
That's what I thought, too, but I obviously chose the wrong person. Yeah, I know Mr. Garrideb watches it, but he wasn't on the stand. Ah, no! No, why do we have to go all the way around? It has to be the yellow guy. Right? Popeye. It's gotta be Popeye. There's no need, Susato, I'm fine! Susato, I'm fine! Why wouldn't it just let me pick somebody new?
Hold it!
Zoom in. Alright, so we're on the right track. We have supporting testimony. So I think actually it was Popeye attempting to murder. No, it was the yellow guy was trying to murder Shamspear, but Shamspear is attempting to murder Natsume. The conspiracy goes deeper. Mr. Von Zeeks! Duncan Ross, that's what his name is. This guy.
Take that!
No, not him either. What the heck? Is it Mr. Natsume? Well. It's got me Mr. Natsume then, but I feel like they don't trust his testimony anyway, so I was like, nah, don't present him. Man, you know, if I didn't record the last episode 5 days ago, I might not be struggling as much with this part. I think it's been a little bit since we've played.
Hold it!
Alright, we gotta zoom through this pressing again. Man, because Mr. Natsume's stove always goes out. I feel like it doesn't matter what he says, they don't trust him. But I'll present Natsume now. I have supporting testimony. No, in truth I don't have evidence, but we have supporting testimony. What's that testimony? This is incredible, whose testimony?
Take that!
There we go, music stopped. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant. Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? And at the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, so like 7 days ago, Mr. Natsume said the following.
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings! Even that on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamspear's room. I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me!
No, yes, I remember now. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the courts, was that a mere coincidence, or not?
Good golly!
So that Shamspear fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose. Now hold your horses there, what would he do that for? I don't know, but he's looking pretty stressed out. Mr. Foreman. What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree, there is more to this case than meets the eye. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. Tipping the scales, yeet. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue.
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamspeare.
My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee?
What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either, the lamp or the pipe.
But your handprints have made a tiny mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Oh, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains, at this time, unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
Objection!
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes? Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that.
In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air to the gas pipework where he lived?
Because he's trying to murder Mr. Natsume. There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is... to use the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order, counsel. Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be more simpler. Now that we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamspeare wanted to end the life of Mr. Natsume.
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garrett, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of this case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? Popeye. The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, How could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs?
Ah, you mean to suggest?
Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known.
What?
In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Ah! Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Ah. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly?
Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond! Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage.
What advantage?
Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt.
You mean, name the true culprit?
I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
And as it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. And I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. Huh? What? Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly what... There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit?
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring a third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend, or perhaps a duelist with a third-rate deck. It's just Kaiba, but racist Kaiba. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friends, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime?
Take that!
You claim this person is the true culprit? Highly suspicious, I would say, yes. Perhaps, my learned Nipponese friend, you should turn those wide eyes of suspicion on yourself. Oh, so it's not. Alright, so that didn't work.
Mr. Naruhodo, please, you must concentrate.
I was trying to.
Then, you must concentrate harder.
Ugh, harsh. Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? I'm a little torn. It has to be someone who can get in the house. She can't get in the house, right? I thought I was onto it with this guy. I thought I was onto it. I feel like I'm overthinking things. Ooh. I'm gonna go with Shamspear. That empty box was very suspicious.
Take that!
You claim. Oh, that wasn't right. Darn it. Alright, so we'll. We died. Well, Natsume died. Alright.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
Alright, so I'm gonna try her. I don't know how she would do it. Let's retry it. Yes.
The True Culprit!
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate duelists. Alright. Let's go for it.
Take that!
Nope. Alright. Interesting. So who is the true culprit here?
Mr. Naruhodo, you must concentrate!
I'm concentrating harder, Susato. I'm concentrating. It was you, Sholmes. It's not you. It's not you. It's not you. You didn't do it to yourself. Obviously, it's not our client. It's not Iris. It's not Sholmes. It's not Susato. It's not Mr. Garrett. That would make no sense. Was it Miss Green? Did she do it? Retaliation? But she was asleep when this happened. That doesn't make sense at all. He couldn't have done it before he died. I don't understand who it is. Let's try it. I don't know. No? That's a no from Van Zeeks. I don't understand. I have no idea. I didn't not present him, right? I did him first, unless I misclicked or something. This makes no sense. How is it not him? I don't know what to present here. Did I misclick something? Ugh. She is...
Take that!
Wasn't she unconscious, though? The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear is, I believe, Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green? I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Counsel, but I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green.
I guess she could have put it on before.
She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
And I hardly need remind the court that Mr. Shamspear's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have had a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in a hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious, she had poison.
And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought into the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamspear.
My lord, pray, what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspear's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her, at least not by name.
And as the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient.
Very well, I grant the request.
Excellent, I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
Alright, weird. But Olive Green was asleep. I mean, how long does the poison stay there? Yeah, I'll save. This is a weird ending. A little weird. Really would have thought it'd be the gas guy since he has a motive. Wait, why does it still say trial part 2? Why does it still say trial part 2? Shouldn't we be going into trial part 3? Is that maybe a typo? Huh, that's a little odd, but regardless, I think we'll still wrap it up here. We'll see as we start the next episode where it actually is. I'll check before I guess we get started to save and see what it says. Because we should be going into trial part 3 here, talking to, I'm assuming, Miss Green and unveiling the connection between Duncan Ross and Mr. Shamspear, Miss Green, and things like that. So, very curious as to where this is going. This is definitely not what I expected. Definitely didn't expect Miss Green to do it. If that is indeed the case here, very interesting. Let me know if this is what you thought was going to happen in the comment section down below, because I definitely wasn't expecting it. So yeah, that does it here for episode number 26. Definitely, things would have went smoother if I was able to get to those back-to-back day recordings. But being definitely some time since we heard that testimony from Mr. Natsume, I thought it would have came from the gas guy. I mean, of course, we know Mr. Garadeb has said to us that he checks the flickers, so that was my first inclination, but that's true. Mr. Garadeb hasn't testified, so we wouldn't have testimony from him to reference. So yeah, I stumbled a little bit here. Naming the true culprit, though, that was very difficult. That was very difficult. Like, I mean, I could see Miss Green wanting revenge for the loss of Duncan. But when would she have had the chance to do it? I don't know. Maybe she went into the house and put it on all the pipes and then would know by who died who was the one who killed Duncan, maybe? I don't know, but she seems to not have knowledge of poison. I'm just really confused here, and I'm really excited to see what we discover next time. Now, just based on what we have coming up on the channel, there might not be another gameplay episode until Friday, just because I do have a bonus for tomorrow and some regular content scheduled for Thursday. But very excited to see. Hopefully I'll be able to record later this evening another episode, get that ready to go, because I am very curious to see how things wrap up here in episode 2, The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Very curious, and I don't know. Maybe was she actually unconscious? Maybe she accidentally poisoned herself somehow, and that's why she was unconscious from that stab wound? I really have no inkling here, because it is very weird. Why is she unconscious for so long from just having the stab wound? I mean, obviously she didn't die, and I'm assuming it's very traumatic to the body, but to be unconscious for that long is a little odd. But anyways, that does it here for this episode, so if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Comments for me, like I said, is this what you expected? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you're not yet part of the Allie's Treasure Trove family, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Would love to have you join us. Also, before I get on out of here, would love to, of course, give that extra special shout out to all of my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so much, you all, for your above and beyond supports. I absolutely, truly do appreciate it. To have 4 Ultimate Excavators, Jack Perez, Keith Muta, Mako, and Stephen Olivo. Also have 3 Gemstone Miners, Andon, Mark Mardini, and Stephen Bly, and 1 Crystal Collector of John Michek. But that does do it for me here. Of course, thank you to all of my other patrons as well, whether you're on a tier in which I say your name at the end of every video or not. Really, truly do appreciate your guys' above and beyond support, so thank you so much. But yes, that does it for me here. Very interesting happenings here in this episode, and I hope you'll join me next time as we hopefully solve this case and, get these mysteries uncovered here on Allie's Treasure Trove. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and hope to catch you in the next video. Bye!